This video was filmed in June 2024, a few weeks after I learned that I didn't make the YouTube Partner program for ad monetization threshold of 4,000 watch hours by 1 hour. Yes, that's right, just 1 hour. For those that aren't familiar with me, hi, I'm Kristine. I used to be a brand strategist in New York City, and I recently quit my New York job to relocate to Taiwan. I've been filming for about 1.5 years. As you may or may not know, small creators don't make anything, which is why being able to get the eligibility to monetize on ads is such a big thing. It's not really about getting paid, but about having a small bit of income to set off video expenses like equipment, software, and music. 1 hour, it's okay. You can reach that goal in the next day. Well, the way it works is that it's a 365-day rolling basis, and this was my watch hour at the time. So if I didn't hit it then, it was going to be a long time till I'll be able to hit it. And to this day, as I'm still filming this, I still haven't hit it. But it's not about that. Well, it's a little bit about that. But I want to focus this video to talk about what I learned from the setback. Setbacks are bad, but if you learn from them, they can fuel you for the future. And these are my lessons. I hope you enjoy. So this is me coming to terms with what I see as one of my failures and what I learned from it. Hoping that whatever you're facing in your life, to know that you're not alone and that failures are okay. Defeatedness is okay. We're all in this together. So I wrote these down. 4 lessons I learned from failure. The first is consistency, consistency, consistency. We see this a lot in a lot of the YouTube videos of, oh, you have to consistently post every week or consistently post every 2 weeks. That side is definitely very important of consistency and upload so that the YouTube algorithm and all these different algorithms online kind of pick up and see a consistent pattern. Upload on Thursday, then your viewers will stand by and watch that video on Thursday. But I think the other consistency that I felt like was important was the consistency in having a rhythm of filming, of editing, of uploading, and not pressuring yourself into a schedule that is not fit for who you are and what your life supports. So I had the strongest time in having a upload every 2 weeks, but then when I was coming up against time, I was doing weekly uploads. And that did not allow for consistency in my schedule because I had a full-time job, and to upload weekly, I was editing at up to 2 or 3 a.m. and having to work the next day, and I was burning myself out. I was not happy, and that rhythm that I knew I wasn't able to keep consistent, that really pushed me over the edge. I felt like I gave it 150% of what I was able to give, and then I just ended up burning myself out. So what I learned definitely, first, consistency in uploads, consistency in having a set schedule, but also I think the third one that people don't talk about is consistency in having a rhythm in behind the scenes of editing, of getting the cover photos, or planning content, of filming content. That consistency you also need to have to be able to do this consistently and not be able to burn out. I also want to read you something that I read. This is from The Second Brain. I think this passage really applies to this creative process. Completed creative projects are the blood flow to your second brain. They keep the whole system nourished, fresh, and primed for action. It doesn't matter how organized, aesthetically pleasing, or impressive your note-taking system is. It is the steady completion of tangible wins that can infuse you with a sense of determination, momentum, and accomplishment. It doesn't matter how small the victories, even tiniest breakthroughs can become a stepping stone in more creative, more interesting futures than you can imagine. So that passage really stuck to me. I'll let you wallow in it. The second lesson that I learned was the importance of planning. For me, I really underestimated the time, the effort it took to undertake editing, to come up with new videos. I lacked a plan, even though I'm a brand strategist and I know this is part of what I do in my job. This is not what I did. Towards the end, I backtracked on that plan. So don't do that. Don't do that. Having a plan and sticking to it and trusting the system. I didn't trust the system that I set out to have in the beginning. That's why I decided to expedite the number of videos. Trusting yourself and having a plan and sticking to it is so important, and something that came clear now that I'm looking back. I didn't trust it, I burnt myself out, and was not able to be happy.
Of course, there are times where you need to pivot and change your plan. It's not about saying that you should never change what you're setting up to do, even when the reality is showing that your plan's not working. It's more about when you're pivoting, also plan for what's next. It's not about a short-term plan. So for me, I told myself, it's okay, I'll have weekly uploads for about a month or two. However, I know I wouldn't be able to stick to that schedule in the long term. It was a short-term fix, and deep down, I knew it wouldn't work long term. And that's the lesson of having a plan, sticking to it, even though there might be times when you need to pivot and change your plans. Plan for something that comes after that.
The third lesson that I learned was that to always keep your eye on the ball and just have fun. It's the only way to happiness. Stepping back and looking back, wallowing on this failure, I revisited my goals. I lost myself in that moment. I really wanted to hit 4,000 and being able to get monetized. But looking back, when I started doing this, I wasn't doing this for money. I wasn't doing this to get views. I wasn't doing this to get famous. I don't want to get famous. I was doing this to help people so people can learn from my journey of getting into brand strategy. I know it was super hard for me and there wasn't a lot of resources, and I wanted to share the love I have for branding and being able to gain awareness of what brands can do. When I was so focused on hitting 4,000, being able to get monetized, that I stopped having fun. And when I stopped having fun, this started becoming a pressure, and I realized that I was starting to have a lot of anxiety and negativity around YouTube, around watch hours, around watch time, around views. If you are also on this journey, think about why you started to do this in the first place, why you started on this journey, and being able to revisit your goal and your intentions behind all of this can really help center yourself and be able to regain that focus and that momentum and being able to do what you need to do. The fourth and last lesson was humility and self-compassion. It was a very humbling experience going through this failure. Growing up, failures aren't really celebrated. We're expected to live it and then learn from these failures. I didn't know how to accept that I failed. I didn't know how to take it. People really hyped me up, and then when people were asking about it, I just kind of brushed off and said that, yeah, well, like, I failed, but it's fine. But it's not fine. But it's not fine, but it is. This journey really reminded me that no one is perfect. You're not expected to be perfect. You're always expected to put your best self forward, but it's okay. Be kind to yourself through this journey and not to be too hard on yourself. A lot of things with social media, these are things that you can't control. You can't control whether the algorithm supports you. You can't control whether your audiences like this video or not. There's just so many things that you can't control, and if you want to control everything, it just leads to so much anxiety and so much negativity that it's not healthy for you. One thing to be aware of with social media is that every like, every view, every subscribe, every share, these are like small hits of dopamine. It's like taking drugs. There are research about how social media is addictive because of the small hits that you're able to get from these affirmations. This is the way that these systems are designed to rewire your brain in this way. So I think just being able to acknowledge it and be softer on yourself. Accept that you can't control everything. You can't always have successes in your life. It's okay to not win all the time. It's learning to have resilience from these failures that trains your mind to be able to bounce back quicker the next time. I'm filming this because I wanted to have a record of all the lessons that I've learned so that in the future, if I have other failures, I could remind myself, did you lose yourself again? And like overly focus on something that was not your intention. Looking back, time really does wash away some of the pain. I know I wasn't like in so much pain, but I did have a few days where I was really down. Looking back at it a few weeks later, I realized that I am so much stronger because of that, and being able to sit down and reflect on the things I've learned, I've realized that I've grown. And I'm proud of myself for that. When I was wallowing on those failures, I realized that like the world moves, people change, but I'm still here. It doesn't matter if I'm wallowing on these failures, if the world is still moving, like I could sit in and reflect, but I shouldn't just sulk at my failures for so long, because this failure does not define me. It is how I recover and bounce back from these small setbacks, and looking back is just like a small bump in the road. Yeah. Those are like 4 lessons that I've learned through not being able to get YouTube monetization, but hopefully I'll be there one day. Yeah, this is a weird one. I think I'm usually not this down, so I hope you like this one. I hope I'm able to help you with whatever you're going through, and hope we're also able to recover, and I'll see you next time. Bye.